Welcome in, Commanders family, to the Next Man Up podcast. I'm your host, Brian Colbert Jr. And on this episode, we're talking tight ends. We have Zach Ertz pulling up to talk NFC East rivalry games. You know he knows something about that. Then the legend of the game for this Sunday, Vernon Davis, pulls up and talks about not only his play on the field, but what he's doing outside of the field to continue his life journey. And last but not least, we had to get a New York radio guy to pull up, but I promise you, he is a fan of the Burgundy and Gold. Peter Rosenberg joins the show to talk about why he's excited about his Washington Commanders. That's all on Next Man Up.
Scratch is so nice, gotta hear it twice. Is the place be as y'all can see?
Commanders family, our Next Man Up is a 3-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion, holds the record for most receptions in a season by a tight end. Look at him smiling. My boy Zach Ertz. How you doing, yo? Good to see you, man. We appreciate you taking the time, man. Let's get right into it. You had your first game back. You had not played since 2023 October, right?
Yeah.
You had that much time off of the field.
Yeah.
Now you were back, man. You looked good out there. How did it feel to get just back on that field again?
It felt great. Obviously, week one, definitely some nerves going into it, some butterflies, but I feel like that's a good thing. Whenever you lose the butterflies week one, that's probably time to hang them up. So it's good that I still got that feeling in me. Felt good to get out there, run around with the guys. Obviously, to come up short was a terrible feeling. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it felt good to get out there, good to be with the guys, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of the year.
You said still got it in me. So I got to ask, man, when you go through an injury like that, you've accomplished so many things already, right?
Yeah.
You're in year 12. You've accomplished so much. You can probably say, you know what, I can hang the cleats up.
Yeah.
How did you get through that and fight through it and say, you know what, I still want to play football?
Well, I think so. 2 years ago, 2022, I had the knee injury, and that was a tough one to come back from, and I probably came back a little too early. And then I had an injury that was not very – it was not a bad injury last year. It was not bad enough to miss that many games, but there was a lot of politics involved with the situation in Arizona. And so just being able to take a deep breath and kind of reset and wait for the perfect opportunity was something that I really wanted to focus on to get back and feel like myself, feel like the player that I knew I could be again. And it really just gave me an opportunity to really train for essentially 9 months straight for the first time and forever, to have that amount of time to get back to where my standards are for myself. And I feel like I've had a great offseason because I've been able to feel good. I feel healthy. I feel probably the best I have in years. So I feel like I'm in a really good place.
Man, you had a great offseason. You're having a great start to your season. You've had welcome twins in, man. You and your wife welcomed in twins. Did that give you a little extra motivation to be like, you know what, I want my twins to see me on that field. I want them to be able to see what my 2-year-old's been able to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a blessing to have 3 kids, 3 little boys.
Wow.
Feels like yesterday I had no kids, and I woke up today and have 3 kids. So time flies. But it's so fun to be their dad, obviously, come home to a full house. It's mayhem at times right now. But Julie is crushing it. She's an amazing mom. She's an amazing athlete, but she's an even better mom. So it's fun to see her in this role. And I'm just excited to be their dad and her husband.
As athletes, do you guys compete a lot? Because like my wife, she played basketball, right? She's a coach, so like it's competitive for everything. Is that how you guys are, like in parenting?
It's not like we're over there competing of who could change a diaper the fastest or who's getting the most diaper changes in a day. But like if we're playing cards or something, we'll definitely compete in something like that. But now it's a lot of just supporting one another to be the best parents we can for these kids. And that's what we're focused on.
For sure, man. And last time we spoke, you were just signed pen to paper.
Yeah.
You had the burgundy suit on still, man.
Yeah.
How has it been adjusting and just getting into this offense as this leader?
Yeah, I mean, it's been phenomenal, honestly. I didn't really know what I was getting into. Obviously, I've been in this division for a long time, but didn't really know about Northern Virginia, didn't really know about this organization besides what you heard. And so I would say I was coming in with eyes wide open, and I can't really put into words how great it's been.
Wow.
I've loved living in the DMV. I love the greenery, the road, just driving out here. So green, so lush. And so it's probably my favorite like area that I've lived in so far. And then just the organization, man. It's blown me away. DQ, the culture he's building. Obviously, I loved playing for Cliff in Arizona. That's who I wanted to retire playing for. And when he got fired in Arizona, I was extremely disappointed in that decision. And so I didn't even know this was going to be a possibility. But when he got the job as the OC, I jumped at it. I was eager to get out here. And then Josh Harris has done an amazing job from an ownership standpoint, just investing in the players, leaving no stone unturned to be able to provide everything we need to be at our best. So from top to bottom, I feel like this place is just going to continue to ascend.
And you said it when you got here. You knew you were coming in here to be a leader, to be a mentor, and to also build chemistry with the young quarterback in Jaden Daniels. Got to do that in week 1. How has it been just teaching Jaden and helping him grow and just watching him be the man that he is?
I mean, Jaden is going to be a amazing player in this league for a very long time. And I wouldn't say I'm teaching him a lot. He's come in with a vast knowledge of the game, the way he understands concepts, the way he understands leverage, technique, how I run my routes. I feel like there was a natural chemistry that was built right away. But also he loves the game and I love the game. So we talk about football consistently. We're texting each other late at night after watching the film on our own. What do you think I should do against this? What do you want to do against this coverage? So we're just constantly trying to make sure we're on the same page so we can play fast, because we feel like if we're on the same page, if we're playing fast, and no one's going to be able to stop us.
Sunday will be both of your guys' first game playing for the Burgundy and Gold at Northwest Stadium. How excited are you to be on that side of it? I mean, you played against these fans a lot. How excited are you to get them to cheer for you?
Yeah, I'm excited to not get booed. You know, it's going to be fun. I'm so excited to be there for the home opener, to be on this side of it. And we got to go out there and put a product on the field that they're going to be proud of, that they're going to be able to support and cheer for. And that means scoring a lot of points, hopefully. But at the end of the day, a division game, the Giants have played it a million times. And so it's going to be a battle.
And like you said, you've played them a million times. My last question for you, those NFC East battles. No, you haven't done it for us, but you've been there before. How special are those NFC battles? Paint that for us.
Yeah, this is the best division of football, in my opinion. Just massive markets, massive fan bases, passionate fan bases, honest fan bases. And so for me, it's the best division in football to play in. And I'm glad I'm back in it.
Zach, we appreciate you, man. Can't wait to see you for week 2 at the crib, bro.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Yes, sir. Commanders family, since we're talking tight ends, we might as well go to a legend of the game, a former Washington tight end that will be this Sunday's legend of the game. Commanders family, our next man up is a legend in the game. He's won a Super Bowl. He's had over 7,500 yards receiving, 63 touchdowns in a very long and fruitful career. And he ended it here in Washington with the Burgundy and Gold. Welcoming in NFL legend and tight end, Vernon Davis. Brother, how you doing, man?
I appreciate it. How you doing, man?
Oh, man, I can't complain. Anytime I'm sitting here hanging out with a legend of the game, man, I'm blessed, man. I got the best job in the world.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir, man. So, of course, I said it earlier. You are going to be recognized as a legend of the game this Sunday for our first home game against the New York Giants here for this season, which is a very, very big game, right? Jaden Daniels' debut at the crib, Dan Quinn's debut at the crib. How special is it for you to be honored in such a momentous occasion?
I think it's a great opportunity, man. I grew up rooting for the Washington Commanders, so to be able to be affiliated with them in some kind of way is still, it's just great. It's just awesome to be able to just, be a part of what they're trying to build. And I know they're trying to build a championship team. And if I can give, my time, my energy, and just be a part of this, and I think there's no better way than to be one of the legends of the game, in which they were able to incorporate me for the first home game of the season. So it's truly an honor.
Do those kind of things shock you, how much the fans here revere you, right? You're only here a few years, but the fans love you as if you spent your whole career here. And that kind of seems like the trend with a lot of the legends that played in the Burgundy and Gold. How much does it mean to you to just be revered like that by this fan base?
Yeah, I mean, that's why we play the game. We play the game. I think as a young guy coming in, it's always we forget the little details about the game of football, right? What makes this game. And it's nothing more or nothing better than having a group of people rallying behind you as a support, as your support system and your team of people who want to see you win, both individually and as a team. And it's nothing like it. So when we do anything, like I used to say when I was playing football, we do it for the fans, we do it for the organization, we do it for our family, and we do it for ourselves.
You've been around. You've seen a few different regimes here in Washington, even when you were with the Niners. What's different about this time? What's different about this go around, in your opinion?
Anytime you can change up things, change is always great, especially if it's for the betterment of something. And I think right now this is for the betterment of the team when they made the change to the upper management and the pieces that they were able to put together with the management team has been nothing but phenomenal. I think Magic Johnson bringing his experience, his notoriety, and everything that he's learned from building a team, I think it works. And I also think it's refreshing to have something new and a new group of people come into the city of Washington, D.C. with expectations to win a championship.
And we just spoke to Zach Ertz earlier, and very much like you when he got here, right? He had the Pro Bowls, he had the Super Bowl, he had the numbers and the statistics, but decided to, in the back of his career, come here to Washington and take his talents there. You did a very similar thing. Take us back to then when you did first get to Washington, what you were feeling, because again, you had already proved so much. You could have stopped right there, but you said you wanted to keep going here in the Burgundy and Gold. Why was that?
Yeah, to me, I mean, like I said, it was a great opportunity to come back to my hometown team and play for them. It was, I mean, I know when you have an opportunity to play for a team that you grew up rooting for, I know that's few and far between. It doesn't always happen like that every single day. So I embraced the opportunity, and my friends and family, my kids, everyone was here. They had an opportunity to see me wear that good old uniform that we've been seeing for years. But it's, I embrace it, man. I embrace every single opportunity that I possibly can, especially if it's a good one, and just stay positive about everything.
Born in D.C., went to the University of Maryland, came back, played for Washington. Now you're being honored at the field, right on the field, man. Is that a full circle moment for you? Because I got to imagine, like you said, like this is your hometown team. You had to have dreamed of this, right? You had to have dreamed of one day being on that field, and now you're on the back end of it. Have you had those moments where you sit there and be like, man, God is good?
Man, God is so good, man. I give it all to God, man. Everything I do, everything I receive. And I know life is short. We're only here temporarily. But to be able to live the life that I've lived and continue to just learn how to navigate through the ups and downs of life, because life it's not easy. It's tough. I know we have moments in our life where things can be great, and then we have those moments where things aren't so great and it's dark, it's gloomy. But if we continue to just keep the fight, stay humble, stay just graceful, stay just appreciative of all the little things that we receive in life. Life can be really good, even when there's those down moments in our life. But I'm very, very grateful for everything that's come my way.
And life has definitely been a journey for you, Vernon. Now, on the Next Man Up podcast, we talk a little X's and O's, but we really like to talk about the player behind the helmet. And you, sir, have a lot of layers. You are somewhat of a Renaissance man. You act, you do music, you've done so many different things. You're a leader, you're a philanthropist. Why is it so important for you to continue to be so active, even though you're technically retired?
I think it depends on your driven purpose. Like, what's your purpose? Whatever you think your purpose is, or whatever you're living for, whatever's going through your soul, through your mind, what do you want for yourself? You ask yourself that question. What do you want? What does your life look like? What makes you happy? And I learned that in order to get through life, this crazy life that we live in, this crazy world that we live in, is to be happy, to be inspired, to feel like you're living for something. Every morning, every night that I go to sleep, I'm excited about the next day. Lord willing, if it comes, right? I know it's not guaranteed, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that I get another opportunity to wake up and do something that I love, whatever it is. Everybody has different passions and different desires, but whatever it is, I get a chance to do it again. So I get excited about the future. I get excited about right now. And I know that, everything that I put in, I'm leaving, but it's going to become a part of my legacy, and the legacy outlives you. Legacy be here for years and years and years to come. And that's ultimately, that's what you want to do. You want to leave behind a legacy. And I think that's important for everyone to understand that, hey, the impact that I had, people are going to remember me for the rest of my life. I did really good, whether it's big or small. It doesn't matter what stage it's on, as long as you leave behind something. You all got to leave it behind.
And you said realizing what your purpose is. What is Vernon Davis's purpose?
I think my purpose is to be an example, to be a role model, to create smiles and uplift people. I think it all goes by everything in life always goes back to somebody, right? Because every day we're impacted or we're affected by someone. There's someone that can impact us in either a positive or negative way. And my thing is to give that positivity to the world and to people that have a chance to cross paths with me. And that's just my purpose. They say that, find out what makes you tick and what gives you like the energy to be able to just press on each and every day. And for me, it's giving back and creating smiles.
And you're giving back in a major way right now because you wrote a memoir. And there's a lot of different stories in there, a lot of different things and antidotes that not only NFL players and players can get, but just people in general. Talk about what made you decide at right now in this point, because you've been through a lot, especially this year. Why did you decide to drop the memoir right now?
I decided to drop the memoir right now because, like I said, I just think life is so precious. I think life is so precious and life is just so short. I don't know if I'm going to be around here until I'm 60, 70 years old. So I can't wait that long to write my memoir. I got to write it right now. I've done more than enough in life to be able to inspire people. I remember I was going through panic disorder when I was playing in San Francisco. First thing I did was find books. I was looking for books. I was online. I was at the library. I was in different office spaces and just trying to find books that resonated with what I was going through. And I feel like my book, someone's going to be searching for my book one day and they're going to pick up my book. And that book is going to give them the joy and inspiration they need to be able to continue through life. And I think it's those things and those moments that we don't really think about because there's so much going on in this life. Everything's fast. Your cars on the road. You have political debates. You have different careers and career paths. But what about the struggles of life? That's what we're supposed to be there for. We're supposed to be there for people when they're struggling, when they're on their downfall, right? Because I can assure you that everyone in life, if they get a chance to live long enough, they're going to experience some kind of health issue. Some kind of health issue. That, it's our bodies. We have bodies. We have these living bodies. This blood is pumping throughout our body, and it's very sensitive. We have to handle it with care. But there's things that come up, whether it's something in your blood, or it's an ailment, some kind of disease, or just something you're struggling with, something you need to go to the doctor and get better, or something you need to fix, right? And once we understand that, then we know that people need us. We need each other. We got to help each other. It's just what it is. We're human beings. We're creatures on Earth, and we gotta give and give back, encourage and inspire each other to do the right thing. And the right thing is living prosperously through our nutrition, health and well-being, wellness, and just how we go about our day-to-day, that's what it's about.
Like I said, you've had a year. You lost your brother Vontae, tragically, and we all deal with grief in different ways. So first things first, as a man, because we don't get asked this a lot. First question: how are you doing? Second part of that question is, can you give advice? Because you're all about giving advice and helping others, right? And just like you said, we're all health issues. We'll all lose a family member at some point. One, again, how are you doing? And two, how do you deal with that grief and still perform at such a high level in all the things you do?
Well, yeah, it was tough, man. Probably one of the toughest experiences I've ever dealt with in my life because my brother was my best friend. He was someone I talked to every single day. I mean, I pretty much raised the kid. And watching him go from this kid that was just living in Washington, D.C. to having success, it was just like, it made me proud. That was a proud moment for me the day he got drafted. And to watch him, leave the earth just like that, it was extremely tough. But look, it gave me more perspective. I'm at a place now where I can talk about it, I can smile, And I can just be thankful for him gracing me with his presence during his time. And look, I'll be with him one day. You know, energy, you can't destroy energy. You can't destroy it. He's still there somewhere. And if you believe, I think if we approach life as if we were going to die someday from our human form, then we do better. We live better. We take life more serious. But I feel like as human beings, we feel like we're gonna live forever. And there's nothing wrong with feeling like you're gonna live forever. But there's a big part of you that need to understand that there's things that you need to get done before your time is up. And the way you get it done is by living a wholesome life and trying your best to do the best that you can to while you're here. And just do a good deed, man. Just be a great person.
And Vernon, you're definitely doing that. Thank you for opening up and sharing that with us. I've recently lost a family member too, and grieving's tough, man. Everybody deals with it differently, but you know your advice could help a lot of people. So thank you for that. And let's pivot. Let's pivot back to the field because again, you are a legend of the game. You're gonna be honored there. You're gonna be there, and it's incredible because it's an NFC East matchup. It's a rivalry game. You have some familiarity with how tough the NFC East can be. What do you expect to see on that field week 2 Sunday against the New York Giants?
Well, we know about if you're a fan of the Commanders, you know some of the moves they were able to make in the draft. And Jaden Daniels is one guy who I'm really excited about. I was looking at his college highlights the other day, and I saw some of the things that he were able to do from passing the ball to running the ball. He's definitely a dual threat. I think once he figures it out, he's really comfortable. He's going to be forced to reckon with. He's going to be unstoppable, man. And when you have a quarterback like that that can be both dangerous in the passing game and running game, I mean, it's hard to stop. I mean, you look at Lamar Jackson, you know, what he's able to do. I know he hasn't won a championship, but he has the potential to win a championship. I'll take my chances on a guy like that any day because I know the upside is really high with the ability that he's able to bring to the game of football. But I'm excited. I think they did a great job drafting that kid. And if we can continue to build the pieces around him, both offensively and defensively, I think we have something to work with.
And Vernon, before I let you go, I got to ask every legend this. The fans love it. What's your favorite memory here in Washington? I know tomorrow might end up being the new favorite because you're going to get all that love and the fans are going to be screaming your name. But before Sunday, what's your favorite memory in Washington?
My favorite memory in Washington, I'm going to have to say, gosh, man, I feel like every year that I was with the Washington Commanders was one of they were all amazing, man. And I say that because I had a chance to one day I sat there and I started to reflect just on my journey and just how I ended up here, right? And it made me so like I don't know, man. It just gave me this. I felt this energy run through my body because it's like I don't have to be here. I don't have to be here. So every year that I had with the Washington Commanders was a highlight. Every single year, because I had a chance to walk in that locker room, same locker room I saw when I was a kid, and interact with new guys every single year and create family. And now, you know, I have guys that I can go to that I played with and, you know, and just be there for them. And I know they're going to be there for me. So it's just awesome, man. Every year that I was here, it's amazing.
Hey, man, we are so happy to have you in the fold, man. You deserve being honored. Can't wait to see you on that field, being the legend that you are. Vernon Davis, we appreciate your time, brother. And thank you for opening up to us, man. I think that could help a lot of people out.
Thank you.
Now, since we're playing New York, I figured our next man up should be somebody that has lived out there a long time but has roots in the DMV and still represents the Burgundy and Gold everywhere he goes. Commanders family, this next man up is something we like to call a super fan. Not just because he loves the Burgundy and Gold, but because he is also a superstar in his own right. You've heard him on the radio, Hot 97. hip hop guy. You've seen him in the WWE, a wrestling guy. And he just loves sports, period. He does so many different things. Welcoming in our next man up, Peter Rosenberg. Peter, how you doing, bro?
Yo, man, I am happy to be here. Always repping that Burgundy and Gold. Thanks for making some time for me.
Oh, of course, man. And, we're gonna address the elephant in the room. So I know fans are listening like, why are you talking to a guy that I hear on a hip-hop radio station? What is the point of having him as your next man up? Explain, really, your love for the Burgundy and Gold so the fan base can get to really know why you're a super fan.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, I became a fan of football in the late 80s. And, the first thing I got exposed to was the 85 Bears when I was a very little kid, like 5 years old. And then that was sort of my intro into football. And then I started hanging out with a good friend of mine because I don't come from a sports family. And a really good friend of mine, he and his dad loved the Redskins, always had the games on, always watching. And so I all of a sudden started watching every week. And then, of course, go on to win the Super Bowl in 87, win it again in 91. This is what I just thought sports was like. You just fall in love with the team and they just win championships and dominate the league. It was amazing. And, I was born in Silver Spring, grew up in the Bethesda Chevy Chase area. So then went to University of Maryland, stayed in the area all the way till I was 27 years old. So, and I was a huge fan from about 8 years old on, but it probably even got more intense after I moved away. Cause I think sometimes when you're not in the city, the Burgundy and Gold kind of became my real connection to home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Oh, man, I really like that, man. And you're a hometown guy, so I got to know. Favorite Washington memory off the rip. Because I'm going to tell you right now, fans going to judge you off of your favorite memory. Give us your favorite memory as a Washington fan.
I would say it's probably I guess I should say the one that just hits me immediately, which is if we're getting very specific and granular on these memories, it would be the Darryl Green breakup on the Vikings attempt to try to beat us in the 87 championship game. It was that moment when Darryl broke up that pass that I realized they were going to the Super Bowl. And, of course, it's hard to even go back into what my 8-year-old brain was operating like, but I just know that moment felt so amazing. And the Super Bowl itself obviously was awesome. Really rough first quarter, really great second quarter. But then by the end of the game, we were just cruising to victory. Whereas the end of the championship game had that drama, that really high drama at the end. So that always stood out to me even more. And frankly, I always feel that championship games sort of have this special thing over Super Bowls in the sense that Super Bowls play in a very odd way. Super Bowls don't generally feel like regular football games in any way, whereas the championship game is the last regular football game of a season, an intense football game, but it still feels like, you're not playing in a neutral site. It still has that feel of a real game. So very long way of saying that 87 championship game.
I love asking that question because as a fan, your team is really what makes you fall in love with that sport, right? It's not just the sport, it's those memories you have with your team. So I appreciate you sharing that. And obviously, you've seen highs and you've seen lows when it comes to Washington. But now we're in a different era. Things just feel a little different. Can you explain what it's like for you as a fan, seeing all the different things that are happening, seeing the new coaching staff, new ownership, all these changes? What is it like for you as a fan, especially somebody that's removed from the DMV right now?
Oh, no, it's been a great turn of events the last couple of years. It's been really nice to turn the right direction and turn the page into a new future. And this group that now runs the team, I'm very, very excited. Just that we have new energy. I really didn't think it was possible that it would ever happen. And so the fact that we actually took that step and turned the page for me is a huge deal. Honestly, it was one of the biggest sports things ever in my life was that this change has happened because I did not expect it. I have a lot of tough memories from the year 2000 through 22, 23, whatever it was, 22. A lot of tough moments there. Listen, nothing's going to change overnight, as we just learned in week one. I certainly had some moments where I was like, wait a second, I don't want to feel this feeling anymore. But overall, big picture, I just like the way we're operating, and I have a real faith in what's going on right now.
And you mentioned week one, so let's get right into it because we're recording this on a Monday now. So you're the first person I've actually gotten to talk to since post-game live with Brian Mitchell and Santana Moss. So your initial reactions, right? You said you had some moments that, didn't make you feel the best. But overall, how did you feel just seeing what this new offense can look like, what this new defense can look like, what this new coaching staff can do with the Washington Commanders?
The offense felt promising. Obviously, I would love to see number 17 get targeted considerably more than he was. But you saw the things that Jaden is capable of yesterday. I mean, it was really a microcosm of everything I've seen of JD so far, which is obviously his ability to take off when the pocket breaks down is just incredible and special. The one thing I worried about in my observations of the preseason were sort of some basic things not quite being there every time yet. Like even the first play of the game, right? Like just a poor screen pass that leads to a 13-yard loss, like little things like that I want to see him get more comfortable with day in, day out. But I loved what I saw from Jaden Daniels. That wasn't really my concern. Overall, I would say let's get it. I'm sure this has been talked about already ad nauseum in DC. Let's get a helmet that fits. Let's get that squared away, number one, because your helmet should not be popping off twice during a game. And number two, let's talk about this sliding situation and how we're going to do that, because the head first tumble, that ain't going to work for me, bruh. I'm going to need that to get straightened out a little bit, because that just worries me that it ends up being a separated shoulder or a neck thing. But that's me mentioning the negative. The fact that what I loved about what Jaden did in game one was his patience in the pocket and truly using running as the last option, but doing so effectively. But offensively, Zach Ertz looked great. Oh man, I loved what Austin Eckler looked like yesterday. A lot of spring in Austin Eckler's step. That was fantastic. Protection needs to be better. But overall, I saw clear positives in the offensive game. A lot of growth to see from the defense. But honestly, the way this game is played now, as you know, like the first couple of games, it's really seeing a team figure out what they are, because the preseason has become such a weird halfway preseason. But hey, man, it's early in the season. The things that I hear around the league from how people feel about DQ is always super positive. So certainly some things to grow on, and also some things that you could feel good about from game one.
Peter, I appreciate that. Hearing you talk, man, it's very obvious you are a true fan, man, and you're watching the game very closely. And I've been listening to you. I've heard you on JP and B. Mitch's show a few times, and you were optimistic this season, right? You were reasonably optimistic. You said you expect at least 8 to 10 wins. Did that optimism change at all after week one? Are you still sticking with that? Are you still feeling the optimism you were feeling before week one?
Well, it certainly, obviously a day like that certainly makes you start thinking about 8 more than 10. You know what I mean? But that's really about the defense, bro. I mean, if this defense is better than they looked yesterday, so if they can tighten things up and become a defense that gets you off the field on third down, then yeah, I think that by the time we get rolling, I think this offense will be click-clacking. I really do. I think that scoring will not be a big problem. I think the combo of B-Rob and Austin Eckler, super slept on. I loved seeing how spry Ertz looked at this point in his career. And obviously I have a lot of faith in this wide receiver group, who we did not see a lot from yesterday. Listen, certainly at times, I don't think the quarterback had the time that he needed to watch routes play out. But also it's a matter of, people learning each other. And we've seen Terry learn a lot of different quarterbacks. And I think at some point here, him and the kid will really get on the same page and we'll get going. So the offense, I have a lot of confidence in. the defense it's gonna need to do better than it did yesterday for us to have a fun season.
You're a New York guy, right? You're out there now. You've been in New York for a long time. That has become home for you. You're a household name in that city. But you never really strayed away from the Burgundy and Gold, which I really respect, because I'm telling you, the Giants fans are the worst fans ever. They're the worst fan base ever. And you probably have to deal with them a lot and argue with them a lot. What has it been like being a Burgundy and Gold fan in New York for so long and having to be attached to so many Giant fans?
It's challenging. It's challenging,
to say the least.
Particularly as, even though the last decade has been tough for the Giants, that run from I came up here in 2007. So that first 5 to 7 years, what could we say? Yeah. I had nothing to say. We were nothing but a disaster, and they were nothing but winning. They found a way. And so you really didn't have much to say. The last several years, they've been a little quieter, to be honest, on account of just how messy that team has been. That's an interesting question, though. Because, is there really any worse fan base than the Cowboys? Because the Cowboys fan base feels like it's everyone. That's the thing that makes
true.
Here's
that's
the thing.
Fair.
Let me say. Here's what I'll say. Okay. Eagles fans are the meanest. Giants fans are the most annoying.
Boom. Most annoying.
And because the Giants fans love to argue, and they're just. They're just a pain in the what. And like I said, with the winning that they had over that period, it got even more difficult. But the Cowboys fans are so irritating on account of they just pop up everywhere. And you're like, you're a Cowboy fan? What are you doing here? Why is he around? Where did you get to? How? And they're always on TV. They're always so like, oh, this is the year. So it's a tough question because, I know lots of Giants fans who are great. Just living in the area, obviously, I know so many that I know the whole range. I know the really normal, cool, season ticket holding, tailgate having, lovely, just kind of classy Giant fan. Because there is a classy Giant fan. I'm gonna give them that. That's something the Jets don't have as much of. The Giants do have a classy segment of their
never
base.
Met one.
It's not all of it. It's not all of it. We saw people out there waiting for Daniel Jones yesterday, yelling Daniel Pennies and yelling at the guy. So, but yeah, man, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, I married a woman was a Giants fan. She knows what time it is now. You know, we'll see how this Sunday goes. But,
there we go. I love that.
But yeah, man. This is a Commander's household, though. She knows the time.
Oh, yeah, exactly, man. That's how you handle it, right? I always tell my friends that, man. You got to make your lady a fan of your teams because you're watching all those games, and she has to be there supporting you, too, so I respect that a lot. And we're going to let you go, man, because we know you're busy, but, of course, we have to talk about this matchup. This Sunday, we will be playing the Giants at home. You going to pull up? You going to make an appearance to the game?
So I thought about going to this game. I'm going to wait. I'm gonna wait. I did want to be there for the first JD intro, proper intro at FedEx. I did want to be there for that. The first proper JD intro at home. It seemed like a dope opportunity, but I'm gonna wait. I just had a lot of stuff going on. I think I'm gonna try to make the Dallas game in November instead. But I'll tell you, man, I went to the Giants game last year. I think I went to the Giants game maybe 2 or 3. Bro, it's brutal. I mean, the way that no matter how bad the Giants are, we get on the field and they are a different team, man. It is so irritating. So, I really see next week as a huge deal because this Giants team is going to be emotionally beaten down. They did not score a touchdown in week 1. Their fans were booing them off the field. They do not feel good. We have a home game debuting our new quarterback. You got to go win this game. I don't care what the history tells you. Go beat the Giants, man. Go beat this team.
And I'm sure every fan is feeling that same way. Peter, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you. I hope you're on the radio every single day talking about the Commanders and making Giants fans feel silly this week and next week after we get that W. Last thing, just tell us what you're working on. Tell us where people can follow you, find you, because I'm sure after this interview, you're going to have a lot of Burgundy and Gold fans loving you.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. Well, for on the sports side of things, I do a show on ESPN New York every single afternoon, the Michael Kay Show. You can listen to it wherever you stream audio. Just you could just say to your Siri or your Alexa, play ESPN New York, and listen to us there. I do a wrestling podcast every week called Cheap Heat. That's a lot of fun. You can catch me on the WWE as well. And then, of course, Hot 97 every morning. If you're waking up and you're looking for something to talk about, we don't do a lot of sports on that side. It's more like culture, politics, things like that. But you can get the Hot 97 app, listen to me there every morning, or check out the Ebro in the Morning podcast. Those are the main places to catch me.
A very busy man indeed, Peter. Thank you so much for your time. Commanders family, our next man up, Peter Rosenberg, a super fan of the Burgundy and Gold. Appreciate your time, bro.
Thanks, man. Hail.